All right, so thank you guys. Welcome back. We're on week 2 of Unleashed this week. It's still a prospecting, motivating, inspirational class to keep you guys working until the end of the year to make sure that you guys have a paycheck come January 1st. So last week we had Shelly Klemke as one of our speakers. I know Dana's doing a lot of taping for us this year. So if you by chance missed last week, make sure you check her out. She had some really great tools and ideas. And everything that I gave for handouts, we're going to be on that video as well in the link in the library. I know that Shelly had shared some information with all of us. I am incorporating that into our packets. So this week we've incorporated one of the items, and then next week I'm going to incorporate another item as well. Good. So today we have 2 amazing ladies speaking for us. They'll be here about 10 o'clock to talk. We've got Rachel Skradski and Julie Lawrence. This is the first year that I've actually had 2 speakers instead of just one. I wanted to kind of get a little bit more information out to you guys and some more ideas. So I think having top producers that come in and have different work strategies and approaches, anything that we can get to you guys and share that might give you guys another idea is going to be helpful. So I hope you guys don't mind. I am changing it up this year a little bit, having 2 this time instead of just 1. So we'll be on kind of a limited time with them, about 20-25 minutes. So if that's okay, we'll be doing that. We are going to start off with our video just because Vince is very much into inspirational videos. This one is not as long as the last one, and there is some profanity in it, not quite as bad as Gary Vee, but I hope it doesn't bother you guys. So I liked it. I saw it the other day, actually a couple weeks ago, and I loved it, so I'm sharing it with all of you guys. Today's inspirational quote for me was, "Something wonderful is about to happen to me." So I think if you have your mindset that you are going to have something wonderful happen to you, that it will happen to you. We kind of dictate our own futures, and if you're not willing to put your mindset in the right place to let yourself know that you can do some wonderful things, achieve some greatness, then you'll never get there. So you have to believe in yourself and put your mindset to the right place, and I think you can make anything happen.
May 26, 2003, Aaron Ralston was hiking. A boulder fell on his right hand. He waited 4 days. Then he amputated his own arm with a pocket knife. On New Year's Eve, a woman who was bungee jumping in Zimbabwe, the cord broke. She then fell into a river and had to swim back to land in crocodile-infested waters with a broken collarbone. Claire Champlin was smashed in the face by a 5-pound watermelon being propelled by a slingshot. Matthew Brobus was hit by a javelin. David Striegel was punched in the mouth by a kangaroo. The most amazing part of these stories is when asked about the experience, they all smiled, shrugged, and said, "I guess things could have been worse." So go ahead. Tell me that you're having a bad day. Tell me about the traffic. Tell me about your boss. Tell me about the job you've been trying to quit for the past 4 years. Tell me the morning is a townhouse burning to the ground. Tell me the snooze button is a fire extinguisher. Tell me the alarm clock stole the keys to your smile, drove it into 7 a.m. and the crash totaled your happiness. Tell me how blessed are we to have tragedy so small it can fit on the tips of our tongues. You see, when Evan lost his legs, he was speechless. When my cousin was assaulted, she didn't speak for 48 hours. When my uncle was murdered, we had to send out a search party to find my father's voice. Most people have no idea that tragedy and silence have the exact same address. When your day is a museum of disappointments hanging from events that were outside of your control. When you find yourself flailing in an ocean of why is this happening to me? When it feels like your guardian angel put in his 2-week notice 2 months ago and just decided not to tell you. When it feels like God is a babysitter that's always on the phone. When you get punched in the esophagus by a fistful of life. Remember that every year 2 million people die of dehydration. So it doesn't matter if the glass is half full or half empty. There's water in the cup. Drink that shit and stop complaining. You see, Muscle is created by repeatedly lifting things that have been designed to weigh us down. So when your shoulders feel heavy, stand up straight, lift your chin. Hell, call it exercise. Remember that life is a gym membership with a really complicated cancellation policy. Remember that you will survive. Remember, things could be worse. Remember, we are never, ever given anything that we can't handle. When the world crumbles around you, you have to look at the wreckage and then build a new one out of all the pieces that are still here. Remember, you are still here. The human heart beats approximately 4,000 times per hour, and each pulse, each throb, each palpitation is a trophy engraved with the words, "You are still alive. You are still alive." Act like it.
me, it means that you have the choice every day when you wake up of what you want to make of your day and what you want to achieve. And we sit there and we feel sorry for ourselves when things go wrong or don't go the way that we have planned. And so I think, like I've told you already this morning, that everything that we do is mind over matter. And if you have your mindset you're going to be successful and that you're going to be able to achieve whatever you want, that's going to be you to decide and actually achieve those goals. So I think, again, I'm going to do a little bit of repeating this today. The key essentials to optimizing mental health and having a great routine is having a great nighttime regime. Every night before I go to bed, I try to make sure that I have everything already lined up for my next morning. I have my alarm set for the morning. I know exactly what I'm going to do when I get to the gym. If I get to go that morning, I have everything planned out for my day. I know exactly what's in my schedule for the day before or the next day. I kind of check my Google Calendar. In the morning, I do a power morning. I do not check my email. When I get up to go to the gym, when I get up to do my hair, to get in the shower, I do not check my email one time until I get to the office. I choose not to do that because I think sometimes we cloud ourselves with a lot of junk when we don't need it. I don't check Facebook. I don't check Instagram. I don't do any of that stuff in the morning because I think in the morning you really need to have your focus on what you want to get accomplished that day. And if you don't, if you have those distractions, then at that point you're kind of already starting your day off at the bad, on the wrong foot. So I exercise. I try to every morning. My husband goes every other day, so today was not my day for the gym, but I did get up at 5 o'clock and go downstairs and run and do some burpees and some stuff that I hate doing. So I did go down for about 45 minutes this morning. Nutrition. This is very important. If it's in a package, they're saying it's not good. I don't completely believe that, but I do believe that if you have your day planned, I walk out of my house every morning with a lunchbox. I have my food prepped for the week. I'm kind of a freak like that. So I make a big bunch of eggs once a week. I make a big bunch of chicken, and I have it all portioned out. That way I know that I always have the right nutrition with me, so if I make a bad choice, it's on me because I didn't follow what I had in my bag that day. And then mindset. Mindset's going to be the last key essential to having a great day. So I think if you have your nutrition, your exercise, your mindset, and all that, you have nothing in your way except for yourself. So no matter how many mistakes you make or how slow you progress, you're still way ahead of everyone who isn't trying. So if you're trying, which you're here today, and you're trying to enhance your business, you're trying to find new skill sets that might help you with your business that you might not be using at this time, you're ahead of half the game because most people aren't even doing that. Like he said in the video, most people find the glass isn't even half, they have a glass at least. You have water, you have something to drink, where a lot of people don't have that luxury in life. So I liked this one when I found that one of Tony. What are your goals and how will you get there? You must be specific with your goals in order to achieve them. So every year in our mastermind groups and along with some of our one-on-one coaching, we make all of our agents do goal setting. I have given you guys all a goal setting sheet in your packet for this week. It's one that Vince likes to use. It's the 1-3-6 process. The 1-3-6 process is something that we tell you, we have all the agents do it usually once a year. The one thing that you want to achieve, if you're going to do this, I would like you either to do it on this sheet or on a separate sheet to be a little bit more specific. So what's the one thing you want to achieve? You want to sell 5,000 in production. You want to make so much money. You want to buy a new house. What are the 3 things you're going to do to get there? And the 6 things you're going to stop in order to get there. What are your 6 distractions that you use, that you do? Facebook, Instagram, emails 20 times a day. You need to write those things down that get in your way. If you have just one simple goal, then I want you also to do a personal goal for business. How many transactions do you want to do? How much volume do you want to do? If you're on a team, how many people do you want to add to your team? If you're on a team, how many people do you want to cut from your team that might not be actually producing this year? You need to be more specific with your goals and write down exactly what you want in order to achieve those items. Something wonderful is about to happen to me today. You need to believe in yourself. So, again, this morning on the way here, I'm giving myself my affirmations in my car, probably looking like an idiot to the person next to me, but I get nervous being up here. I don't enjoy speaking in front of big crowds, but the whole time last night and this morning when I'm running, I even shut the TV off because it was a distraction to me. I'm doing my affirmations in my head, making sure that I'm prepared for my day and that I believe in myself and what I can accomplish. If you continue to do those things every single day, you start to believe that and you get the mindset that you actually can accomplish whatever you want, and with that there's a lot of power. So I know it sounds kind of stupid and redundant every time I say it, but it's true. These people that do this every single day, Oprah Winfrey, some of the Tony Robbins, the people that are the most inspirational, most Most amazing people do these affirmations and write down exactly what their goals are every single day. Tech tool of the day. I'm going to have Tabitha, if she's ready, kind of teach you the tech tool of the day. We're going to go over the market resource, some printing, flyers, and then she's going to work on canva.com. So this is just a tool that we're going to kind of show you once a week. This is the one that we picked out for you guys this week. And then we'll continue with the presentation.
So, marketing resource, Heather's getting that queued up for us. So, a lot of times, you'll walk by the printer and you see like a really cool flyer up there, and you're like, how the hell do I do that? I don't have a, graphic design background. So, you have a couple different options here to, gosh, it sounds really loud, to create flyers on your own, printable flyers, e-cards, e-flyers, you name it, through our resource center. So if you don't have a resource center login yet, please let us know. We can get you set up for that so that you have all of the marketing materials at your disposal. Okay, so if you have a marketing resource login, this is what you're going to see. Today we're inside of marketing resource because you need to market yourself or your property, obviously. So once you click inside of marketing resource, there are a couple different things. When you were here with Bob Watson the other day, you learned about something called Videolicious. You've probably been hearing that word around. To create your Videolicious login before you download the application on your phone, you need to go here to this video creation first, and this is again inside of marketing resource, and then create an account through video creation there. I'm not going to go into Videolicious yet because that's a different training, but to create the program, go to video creation, register there, and then download the application on your phone. Do not do that until after you've downloaded it here. Okay, so inside of marketing resource, we want to create a flyer. We want to create an e-card. You can choose. It doesn't really matter which one of these you go into. You're going to find all of the flyers anyhow. So just for instance, if we wanted to market a property, you can click on market a property. Fortunately, this interacts with it speaks to the MLS, so you don't have to do much once you're inside of here. So, say for instance you want to, and these are drop downs, so if you want to specifically click on a flyer so that you can print that or share it via email, you can go on to flyers, and then in the search menu here, if you have a new listing, you're going to type in just listed. So you can search for anything you want there. You can search for newsletters, anything that comes to mind. You can browse through all of the templates. You've got ads, booklets and brochures, door hangers, e-cards, flyers, any kind of marketing material that you can think of you have inside of marketing resource. So again, we're on just listed, a just listed flyer, and I selected flyer. So now I'm going to find one that I actually really like. Okay, so I found the flyer, and it's just listed because it's a house that I just listed, and I've input it into the MLS. And then what you're going to see is Get Started, so click on the big Get Started link. I already had this flyer before, so if you go into your library, which is where all of your previous templates, where they save to, they actually save inside of your library. You can go in there and then copy those. Give it a title. This title is only for you. Again, I'm in a flyer, same concept for every one of these templates. And again, because I have listings in the system right now, is Kim Hoffert in here? I'm actually using her login. On the right-hand side, you can actually click on your listings, which we already have. Let's change that. So, because it speaks with the MLS, on the right-hand side, you're going to see choose listing. So, these are the listings that she currently has uploaded inside of the system. I want to do a flyer for my new listing, which is going to be this one. Then all of the information imports directly from the MLS. You don't have to write in description and add photos, etc. Yes, ma'am.
So as soon as your house goes pending, you cannot do this anymore?
Yep, when it's pending and no longer active, it won't actually, it will send out, it'll just be it'll be probably blank or black.
Like Kim's listing right there on Heimbaugh's pending. I know that one's pending. So she still has access to that. What she could do, just sold on that, or she could.
Yeah, but you can still do like a just sold or something.
If you get it in the library, probably you can, but.
No, you can still choose the listing. I've chosen pending listings and put it just sold out to my clients or whatever.
I typed the address.
Yeah, they have the just sold card, so yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
If it's showing here, it should work. If it's not showing, then obviously you can't pull it in. Of course, you can pull it in if you just download the photos too. So they have the just listed cards.
And that could be, maybe we need to make sure your MLS data is inputted into the resource center for you as well.
Yep.
So we may have to double check and make sure your MLS data is inputted into there for you. And
If you
not,
have
that could be
listings, exactly, if you have listings and they're not showing in here, then something is off and it should be working. So again, they just popped into each slot here. Now, if you like, say for instance, you don't like that first photo or the third photo, you can click on anything that has a yellow exclamation point. If there is a yellow exclamation point, you cannot go any further. It will not let you share the template. If it's got a green check mark, it will, but you can also, anything that is a green check mark is completely editable as well. Because it speaks to the MLS, it's going to showcase all of the photos as well. So you can click through those and maybe you like a picture of the living room more. So you can change those out. Again, anything with a yellow exclamation point or a green check mark is completely editable to you. And at that point, I'm ready. I can print it. I can save it as an Adobe PDF. I can share it to my Facebook page, Twitter, LinkedIn. I can email it out, or I can grab the link here and then save this link and maybe text it to my sphere if I want. By texting it to my sphere, what I would have to do then is take this link, mail it to myself, email it to myself, grab it from my email account on my phone, grab that link, put it in a text message, and then forward it that way. Those are kind of workarounds. Marketing resource is pretty simple once you get in there and kind of play around with it. These people down here, anytime you go to bhhsresource.com and you see this little blue icon, that's a chat icon. If you have questions, if you can't get into your account, these folks are actually the only ones who have access to the back end of the system. It takes forever for us to be able to enter through Roster Manager and change things for you. They are immediate. They work around the clock. They're a bunch of young tech geeks, and they can do pretty much anything you want in an instant.
So one thing that I learned on the Resource Center that I don't know if Bob Watson had shared with all of you guys when he was in town, but when you hit print, if you want to go ahead and print real quick, you have the choice of printing it to one of our printers, or you can also do like an overnight glossy, really fancy flyer that will be mailed to you overnight if you want to, or you can have it regular mailed to you. I only list for friends and family, and that's one thing I do to kind of set myself apart. So I will have really nice, slick flyers delivered to me, like 25 of them. Typically in our last market, we only need like 20 of them, if that. So they're beautiful. They're nice and glossy. They're thick paper. They're just gorgeous. I think they cost me like $20 maybe to have them overnighted here within like 2 days. And so that's another option that you can do off the Resource Center that a lot of agents, even in this building, do not know that exists.
So instead of doing the download there, you just do the approve and continue and go through the process section.
And we can, if you guys have any questions about something you want to do, I can always show you how to do it, because that's something that I do. It's just something that kind of sets us apart. It doesn't, show different ink marks from a bad printer or anything like that. So it's something that's a tool that we have here that most agents don't know that we have here. You can print postcards and everything else off there too. Yes, ma'am.
So is there a cost to the flyers?
Yeah, well, no, for these, no. If you want to print them here, they're free.
The flyers you were renting?
Yes, so I make a little bit nicer of a flyer, and I do about 25 of them, and it costs me somewhere about $20 to have them overnighted.
Well, that's a shipping.
So when you do
That's
that,
all of it
continue.
all together, $20 all together to have those shipped over to me. They also do postcards, door hangers, anything like that you can print off the Resource Center. They'll do those for you if you want a little bit nicer of a card stock, and they'll just mail them to you as well.
So yeah, you can download them and print them yourself there, or you can do that agree and continue, and then it's going to pop up here. If you get an error message, give it a second, do a refresh, it'll be fine. It works itself out.
Heather,
Yes.
So where is that who's they getting?
So this is the print shop off of Berkshire Hathaway Resource Center.
Right, but when you send that to go get them on cardstock and the nicer shiny,
It comes to my downstairs. It's delivered here to Berkshire Hathaway.
it's through Berkshire that,
The Resource Center, yep. They print them off for us and they'll mail them to you, and it's super simple and easy. So,
You just choose the ones that you want, keep going next, and then it'll tell you to put in your information.
yep, it's awesome. I mean, it's just something that's simple. It'll come to you in a couple days. The only thing is you got to plan ahead of time, have your photos ready to go, have a flyer created before it's even in the MLS if you want to have them there for the day that it goes live. So it does take a couple days to get here, but it's something that kind of nobody else has, and you don't have to go to a print shop, and it comes right to the office if you want it to. So it's really easy and simple for you to use.
Does that make sense, everyone? Okay.
Do Canva.
Yep, so now I'm going to go into Canva for just a moment. Who has heard about Canva? Probably a lot of you. So Canva, C-A-N-V-A. Canva allows you to become a graphic artist with just a couple of little, plug and plays. So you can go to canva.com. You can use if you use it as the free version without having to purchase extra templates, there's more than enough to do there. So canva.com, log in, register, remember your email and password. Then go to canva.com and log in. Yeah, you can totally use the app. The application on your phone is super easy too. Probably easier, more user-friendly than going from your computer actually. So you need to create a design. So we're going to click on create a design, and in your head you already know if you want to create a flyer, or you need something for Facebook, or share something else on social media, or if you need a business card. So anything that you could possibly want, just kind of look through those. They got Facebook covers and business cards, Instagram posts, Pinterest designs, Twitter posts, documents, letterhead, magazine covers, certificates. Maybe you want to print up a certificate for one of your clients. And then keep scrolling and you can get to your flyers and menus and everything else. So we're talking about flyers today. So I found the flyer that I want to use. Now I get to go through their flyers and choose which kind of layout I want. This one kind of has a square up top, and it's got a little verbiage in it, and an image. This one kind of has verbiage over top of an image in the background. So kind of pick the one that you think has the best layout. And I'll do like that one, sure. Give it a second. And then I start manipulating the information on the page to tweak it to what I'm looking for here. So here I might want to do an open house. So I'm going to go over to my uploads because I need to upload a picture that I have saved in there because I'm doing it about my listing. And you can go browse and upload your images there. I've already uploaded a couple, so this is my open house that I want to discuss. So I'm going to take this, just kind of pop it in there. By pop it, just drag it up into that little spot, and it goes in flawlessly. Then you have some edit and filter buttons if you want to change around, if you want to crop the image. This is a transparency kind of bar menu, and that means it will just kind of lighten it a bit if you want to. If you want it to give that kind of, different look. So I'm going to go with that, sure. I'm going to change this verbiage to coming soon. Got an address on there, sure. 21419, why not? And then I don't know, something. Now you've just created a simple little flyer using anything you want, any verbiage you want, any template that you want for any kind of card that you want, and you're done. At that point, then you can just download it. The upper right-hand corner, click download, let it do its thing for just a moment, and it will drop it into your downloads. That's it, that's Canva. Pretty simple. Yep, so if you see a dollar sign over it, that means you have to pay $1 for it. And what you'll get is a watermark over top of it, which you're going to see very clearly. If you've got a watermark, in order for that to be removed, you're going to have to pay $1. They'll ask you to give their credit card. But there are so many free options in there. If you just keep searching, I think you'll have more than enough information there.
So don't stop when you're tired, stop when you're done. A lot of times we get frustrated, we get a little disappointed in our actions, and it wears us down. Make sure that you finish your actions that you have set forth for that day, and that way you can continue to have that right mindset and stay successful. Don't worry about failures, worry about the chances you miss when you don't even try. So a lot of times we won't even pick up the phone, or we're afraid to call, or we don't want to go knock on a door for the fact that we're going to be told no. I think the best thing that I heard the other night when Shelley Klimke was talking was next. Move on. Don't let that sit there and burn a hole in your head. I had an agent the other day complaining about a way another agent had spoken to her, and she was going to go complain, and it had eaten her away for overnight, and the next day, and she's still complaining. I'm like, why are you letting this man upset you? Move on. So don't allow people to have any type of reaction to you, or don't let them have any control over your mind. I mean, this is your world, this is your life, this is your business. Run it how you want to. Tracking is everything if you want to run a business and don't want to be just a salesperson. So the most successful agents track. How many phone calls did you have to make in order to get an appointment? How many appointments did you have to make in order to get a listing? How many open houses did you have to get to pick up a buyer? So these are the items and the action items that you have to track on a daily basis in order to know how many items you have to do in order to be successful and hit your goals. So I went ahead and added these, the daily tracker that Shelly Klimke had provided to us last week. I had a different one, but I like this one a little bit better. So if you want something else that might be a little bit more conducive to the way that you like to work, let me know and I'll be more than happy to send it to you. But this is going to be something that you can kind of go through and see, your daily activities. And so, maybe not all of it's something that you're going to do. A lot of people hate cold calling. Some people love cold calling. Some people hate knocking on doors. Other people don't mind it. Some people don't get a thing from open houses. If you're going to open houses and you're not getting one person's name or any information, quit doing open houses. You're wasting your time. I mean, really, if you're not good at something, notice it and move on. Find the things that you excel in, handwritten notes, your sphere of influence. Figure out what it is that makes you money and keep on doing it. If you decide that you want to integrate something new into your system, go ahead and do that. But make sure you're still doing the one item that was working and then feed something else in at the same time. So the daily trackers in your guys' weekly handouts that I gave you guys today. The power of writing down your goals. They say a study showed that you become 42% more likely to achieve your goals and dreams simply by writing them down on a regular basis. People with written goals are 50% more likely to achieve than people without goals. 92% of New Year's goals are failed by January 15th. I don't even make mine until January 15th, so that way I don't fall into that category. Only 3 out of 100 adults will write down their goals on paper. Setting goals is the first step in turning the invisible to visible. The act of writing down a goal is a very powerful motivator, and writing down goals forces us to avoid being vague. So this couldn't be probably more true. I listen to a lot of podcasts in the morning, and I have all these goals for myself. Like I told you, since being here, I've got this crazy fire in my belly that now I want to be an investor, which I had no desire to do beforehand. But I have this vision, but I don't even know what my vision is yet. So I told myself yesterday, as I was going through, making sure everything was working perfectly, which obviously sucked for me today, but that I need to be more specific in my goals. How many houses do I want to own as rental properties? How many do I want to flip a year? So if I don't know that, I really don't know what I'm working for every single day. I've gotten my first one almost done. It's taken me a lot of heartache, and I figured the first one's a learning lesson, but I'm not going to quit because I know that in my mind I had to be prepared that the first few are going to suck and it's just going to be a learning lesson for me. So I think if you have your mindset knowing that it's going to be a little bit more difficult to achieve, but don't quit until you get there, write down your goals and know exactly what you're trying to get to. That's going to keep you a force of power trying to move forward to get to those things that you've written down and want to get achieved. So my goals, I am actually going to make sure I do this homework tonight as well with all of you guys, is write down my goals for my own investment future. So we're going to do a success experiment this week. It's also in your book, everything that I have here. Each morning I ask for the next 7 days that you start your day by writing down your goals and your dreams in the 4 key areas of life: health and relationships, love and relationships, vocation, which your work, time, and money freedom. Don't write down what you think you can have or what seems possible. Current circumstances. Instead, write down what you truly love, no matter how big or bold it may seem to you right now. So this goes back to what I just said about writing down all your goals. So I think if we can break them down into those key 4 items there, your health and relationships, love and relationships, vocation and time, money and freedom, that we can be more specific with what we're going to achieve. So some people know me and some people don't. I'm probably going to give you more information that you want to know. But I am 43, didn't get married till I was 38. I had no desire to get married. I didn't know if I was ever going to have kids. And then one day I decided I want this. So I have to work really hard with my relationship because I was single for a very long time and it's hard to change your ways. So my poor husband, bless him, he puts up with me and my single stuck ways that I've had embedded into me for like the last 38 years. So I work really hard at this, and I have to sit there and check myself a lot of times with my own relationships. That's probably my most difficult thing in my life, is that because all I've ever known is to work. I worked, 3 jobs just because I had nothing else to do. So, some things come really easy for people, and other people it comes really difficult. And for me, that's the thing that I need to focus on, work on, and make sure that I write down my goals in that. So, I can be the most successful in that part of my life. So maybe that's not your issue. Maybe you guys are great with your relationships, but you suck with keeping yourself on track for work. So maybe that's where you need to focus on writing your goals. Maybe your money. Maybe you're great with money, or maybe you suck with money. Maybe you're always bouncing checks and you need to start writing down in a check ledger, which my husband said is old school because he's also a millennial. He didn't even know what it was, but I write down in a check ledger every single day. I write a check, or I have like a withdrawal. So this is an experiment that I think, at least for the next 7 days, if you start writing it down every single morning, that we can start keeping track of things that we can do to help improve our lives. What will happen with this experiment, it's simple, it's also highly powerful, and it will cause 2 things to happen. The first thing is that you'll reach a new level of clarity around your goals and your dreams, and the act of writing your goals down requires a level of clarity that just thinking about them doesn't. And this is, then it communicates through the logic center, the literal center of us, and I mean business. I'm serious about this. This matters to me. It's my life. The second is that the exercise shifts what you tend to focus on throughout your day, including your awareness about opportunities that are right in front of you, but often can't be seen if you're just casually thinking about what it is you really want. So it helps us focus on the actual goals that we have in hand. That's kind of what this whole topic is on week 2, is making sure that we have our goals intact, that we know what we're focusing on, that our mindset's in the right place. So I have that handout in there for you. It will be your homework for the next 7 days, even if it's something simple, or if you want to just focus on one of the 4 things. Try it out and see if it helps you have more clarity in one of those aspects of your life, and see if it helps you grow a little bit. I know that I kind of give you guys a lot of stuff to do, and most of you guys are busy, so try something out. Like I said, if you integrate something into your life out of this class, great. And if you don't like something that I'm teaching you, then don't do it. I'm just here to help give you guys some tools to see if I can help you do something that you're not currently doing. So that's my whole purpose of being here today. Putting no limit on what you can achieve. Creating a structured and organized plan. Planning your schedule for the next 90 days, and setting goals and allowing nothing to get in your way. So I also put in your guys' packet for this week a 90-day calendar planner. So instead of you guys focusing on what days you're going to work in this calendar, I want you to highlight the days you're going to take off. And then all the days that you highlight you're going to take off, we already know you're not going to work, let's say the day after Halloween because you're hungover because of a party, or the day after like a Husker game. Highlight those days so you already know in your mind that I'm not going to time block for any of those days. You have your vacation already planned, and now we need to focus on the days that are not highlighted so we can start time blocking and figuring out what you're going to do those days. So it just kind of gives you an opportunity to look and see what you have in your schedule. Go through your planners, make sure you have your kids' events in there, any type of birthdays, holidays that you guys are already planning on taking off. That way you know that you're not working those days, and you need to focus on the days that aren't highlighted in order to achieve your last quarter goals. Oh, here's that crappy time of the class. So we're going to do affirmations, but I just missed the guy's picture. He was kind of cute. So I am going to make you guys all stand up with me. We have new affirmations this week. I put copies of them all in your book again. I know, I'm sorry. I make them short though, so we don't have to sit here too long and say these out loud. So these are my favorite affirmations for this week. We'll start with number 1. My past is not a reflection of my future. I will celebrate each goal I accomplish with gratitude and joy. Every day I dress for success in body, mind, and spirit. I feel refreshed, excited, and determined to excel today. I am learning to trust the journey. Awesome. Thank you. So the one I liked, every day I dress for success in body, mind, and spirit, I think that one's probably the most important one out of these 5 ones for me. I worked with a lady back in the day that says that, I dress for the job that I want to have, not for the job that I currently have. So I think being real estate professionals, and everyone has their own style, so you guys do what you do, but I think that we kind of get lax sometimes and take for granted that we have the right to wear flip-flops and shorts and, jogging suits to wherever we want to go. I think that with as much money as that we do make in this business, because you can make a lot of money, that you need to act as a professional. You need to come off as a professional and present yourself that way. So I think, I've been around for a while. In 2007, when the market crashed, I saw a lot of people that dressed this way, and I think people got lazy. People didn't really treat this like a business, and then when things weren't still, going like they had planned, and they weren't making the money that they did, they had to recheck themselves. They had to make sure, what am I doing now that's not getting me the business? So that's where we would bring in the old school items, which I think are going to be coming back around to us again, because I do think the market's changing. I think keeping in touch with your past clients. I think writing handwritten notes. I think, dressing like a professional, following up. So these items right here, I think, are the most important keys to our success as real estate agents with the market changing again, making sure that they see a value in us and that we act like real estate professionals. So that's the one that I love, and dressing for success every day. So every morning, I like this one too, you need to eat the frog. We all hate making phone calls, we all hate time blocking, we all hate calling our sphere and asking them for business. But in order to achieve the goals that you guys want to get to this year, it's going to mean that you're going to have to pick up the phone and make a few phone calls that you don't want to make. It's going to suck, they're going to say no, they might hit decline, whatever, leave them a voicemail. So doing the things that we don't like to do, I think, are going to be the way to achieve your success. Well, you guys can thank Vince for this one, prospecting partners. I was going to let it go by the wayside, but I understand the importance of it. So I have in your guys' packet a prospecting partner sheet. I'm not going to have you do it right now. I'm going to have you do it here later, but this is your prospecting partner or accountability partner rules. So it's going to say that you're not going to train them, that you're not going to whine, that you're not going to make your partner do anything that they shouldn't be doing. What they're going to do is they're going to hold you accountable. They're going to make sure that you're doing your action items, and that you guys are going to meet maybe once a week or a couple times a week to make sure you're on track in order to achieve what you guys are trying to get to. So I'm going to make you guys find somebody that is not your friend, that's someone that is not sitting next to you, someone that you probably don't know if possible, to become your accountability partner. What I'll do is I'll have you take your sheet out, stick your information on it, and then you're going to hand it to your accountability partner so they have your contact information. So if you guys want to fill that out with your information on it, so when it comes time, I'm going to make you guys get outside of your box and find an accountability partner. What you guys are going to do is you're going to swap papers, introduce yourself, and then I'll have you guys give each other a call, email, text, something like that sometime today just to say hello, and then figure out when you guys are going to get together and meet for your guys' accountability time. So I know Rachel's coming in today, and I know Cindy Forehead speaks about this all the time, and there's other ones as well that have, even Shelly Klemke, that have accountability partners. I believe Cindy Forehead every single morning texts her accountability group to let them know that she's actually achieved her goal for that day, I think in the morning and in the evening. So some of the most successful agents that we have in this industry are holding themselves accountable or have somebody else holding them accountable. It's a great idea. It's going to keep you on track for where you want to go, and sometimes it's a little uncomfortable at first, but I think making you uncomfortable is going to be the way that we're going to help you grow a little bit. So humor me and Vince on this one, and I'll get back to that one. So let's start prospecting. I think that everyone, if you're not doing it already, we need to start small and at least making 5 calls a day to your database. Send out 5 texts a day, 5 handwritten notes a day. Use your social media, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, whatever it is. If my daughter got her first haircut, I don't stick anything on Facebook, my husband does. So I'm sure he's got a picture of her on there somewhere getting her first haircut. Soften, got her first haircut, she looked great. Shoot a note to those friends. It's something simple that you can do. They had a first birthday, just send them a note. Send them a note and to say, your favorite realtor or your friendly realtor at the end of it. You don't even have to ask for the business. Just make sure that they know what you do and keep in touch with them. If you keep in touch with them, it's a great way to keep with future business. And then getting together for coffee is 3 days a week or 3 times a week. So this is a great idea, getting together for coffees, because it's cheaper than lunches, first off. Second off, coffees are great because it's about 15 minutes and you don't have to waste 2 hours doing it. But if you're getting together for coffees 3 times a week, make sure you're doing it right. If you're getting together with these people, don't just go and BS about what they're doing this weekend or how the week's going or what's going on. Maybe come with a CMA of their neighborhood if you know what their address is. Do a quick CMA just saying this is what's going on in your marketplace right now. Houses are selling this quick. Market prices are up 2%. Just want to let you know a little bit about your neighborhood that you're living in right now. If you know anyone looking to buy or sell, would you think of me? Pass it to them and then get to coffee. Just talk business for like 3-5 minutes, something like that. It doesn't have to be the whole entire time, because I think if you start hounding them for business every time you're with them for coffee for 45 minutes, they're going to quit taking your coffee appointments. You do want to keep your friendships and keep your spheres close, but you also want to keep on reminding them that you are knowledgeable about the business, that you do want their business, and always kind of maybe ask it or present it in front of them. So this week we're going to start prospecting. Last year we had a knowledge DNA tracker, and to be honest with you, I don't know that anyone really ever used it, or if they did, I think they kind of lied and filled it in with just to make me happy, so when I could see it, if you guys are working. I'm not gonna track your guys' stuff this year. This is something that you guys are going to do. You guys have weekly trackers in there. I want you guys to track your activities, because to be honest with you, the only person that you guys are lying to is yourself. So if you're not doing these items, you're not hurting me. I'm here just to help you and give you guys items to grow your business, but this is for you. I want to give you some ideas that you guys can use to help grow your business. So track your guys' business, but I'm not going to have you guys turn in sheets every single week and tell me what you did, because honestly, I'm not going to babysit you. You guys have to go home every night and look at the mirror and realize why or why not you're getting a paycheck. So I just want to give you guys the stuff that you can help grow your business, and that's one of them. If you wouldn't mind, welcome, Rachel, everybody. Rachel, would you mind telling everybody maybe kind of how long ago you got started, what you kind of do for production, and then maybe go into your story a little bit like we discussed?
Okay. Rachel Skradski, and I started selling real estate about 8 years ago. I started under another agent, Cindy Forehead, as an assistant before I actually started selling. So that's kind of how I got exposed to the market. I actually met her through a high school teacher. And so when I was in college, I just worked for her part-time to kind of see if I wanted to do this. And then when I graduated, she was like, hey, do you want to come sell real estate? And I decided to do that because I didn't have, my parents were like, you don't want to go to work and get a salary and then have to go back to a commission-based job. So I'm really glad they encouraged me to do it because it was the right time for me to get in.
So I really like the fact that you've got some systems in place every single morning. So would you mind kind of going over your daily routine with them, with what you do?
Sure. So I follow the Mike Ferry organization coaching system. And so their kind of mindset is that you need to generate your business. So the schedule that I follow is I role play with someone from 7:30 to 8, and then I get on the phone from 8 to 10 or 8 to 11, depending on how many contacts I need to hit for that day. Of course, I don't do this every single day. You can't do it every day, but that's the goal, to do it every day. So I need to talk to 20 people per day. That's the goal that we set with my coach to hit my production goal. So basically, I'm in a role play group, which is kind of awesome. So every week I role play with someone different. So we have someone that organizes it, and we have a schedule. So on Monday we do the expired script. On Tuesday we do the for sale by owner script. On Wednesday we work on handling objections. And then on Thursday and Friday we each take a turn doing the listing presentation. So Mike Ferry has these scripts. They're available on his website, so you guys can go out. They're free. You just go under resources and you can download any of his scripts. And that's what I practice, and that's what I use when I call people as well.
Perfect. So I know that you had done a presentation for some of our new agent masterminds before. Maybe some of the things that you did to get started in the business that's helped you become so successful.
Oh, that was a long time ago, but I think the main thing that I did was I just called people that I knew and I told them that I was selling real estate. And then I just added them to my database, so I would send them, we didn't do a lot of mailings back then, but I would send them emails. I also went out and just found people. So luckily, I was working with Cindy, and she would refer anyone she didn't want to work with to me. So I thought that was awesome. I'm like, hey, here we go. But I was getting her leftovers. But also anyone who called on her listings that maybe she didn't have time to run out and show right away, she would give them to me. So I know that there's a lot of really productive agents in this office that they're, kind of stretched as it is right now. So if you could find someone that wouldn't mind referring you business, maybe for a referral fee, or, you could set something up with them, that was a huge thing for me. Because once you get traction and get going, then you kind of build your own little database that way. So.
Perfect. So how do you generate your leads? Do you do any type of online lead generation, or is yours like nurturing your?
Yeah, so we don't do online lead generation. The only thing we really do online is we do a lot of Facebook and Instagram. I do Instagram, Cindy doesn't, but so we will boost posts, and we have seen success with that. And it's good for our sellers too, because they're trackable results. So we can go back to them and say, this reached X amount of people, we had this many people engaged in it. That's really the only online lead generation that we do. We do not pay for Zillow leads or any other leads like that.
You don't at all?
No.
So what's one thing you think that sets you and Cindy apart as a team compared to other agents in the industry?
Well, that's a good question, and especially now, most of the time when we go out and compete on listings, we're competing with other Berkshire agents. So I think it's really important to know what sets you apart. And we have in our listing, so anytime we go out on a listing, we send out a packet. And in that packet, we have the top 10 reasons why you should hire us. And for us, our kind of sales pitch, if you will, is that you're getting 2 agents for the price of 1. We're not on a big team, so when someone lists their home with us, they're going to be working with Cindy or myself. We both know what's going on with all of our clients, so they can call either one of us at any time. And she's been in the business for 40 years, so she has a lot of experience. She's been through the highs, the lows. She's been through 20% interest rates. So they have her expertise. And then for me, I'm young and excited about the business. And so I really go out and try to find buyers for our listings. And so you're really getting kind of 2 people that complement each other. She's more of a driver and analytical. I'm amiable, people pleaser. So usually the people can relate with one of us. If they can't relate with her, they'll relate with me, and vice versa.
Okay, so since you guys do the top 10 reasons why they should list with you, is there anything else that you put in your listing presentations that set you guys apart? Like some type of tool that might be helpful for the agents that don't have a great listing presentation?
Yeah, so we actually have a packet. We have a buyer's packet and a seller's packet, and we're in the process of revamping it, but I'm happy to share that with anyone if they want to see what's in it, and you can use some of the stuff. I am on the Rethink Council, and so the first meeting that we had, we all shared our listing presentation, which was super intimidating because we didn't know each other. So I've taken some of those items from other agents' presentations. Examples would be, there's a graph, and I think it's available on the Resource Center, that says the dangers of overpricing. So if you're 10% over, it shows, you have 2 buyers. If you're 5% over, you may have 5. If you're right at market value, you have 10. If you're, under market value, you have a bunch. So it's just a visual showing why you wouldn't want to overprice. We have frequently asked questions in there, which also you can find on Mike Ferry's website. I'm trying to think. It's pretty basic. It's just, the first page is the bios about us. The second page is our negotiation strategy and our listing plan of action. And then we have the dangers of overpricing and why pricing is so imperative in this market. And then frequently asked questions and our process. So what it looks like when you list your home with us from start to finish.
Okay, and so then your buyer packet, does that have something similar, or do you have something else that sets you apart in a buyer's packet?
Yeah, so the buyer's packet is totally different than the listing packet. It's geared towards buyers. And I really believe in doing a buyer consultation. So when I first start working with someone, especially if they're a first-time home buyer, I really try to get them in the office. That's assuming that I haven't listed their house and sold it. So if I've listed their house, then I'll go over that with them at the listing appointment. But if it's a new buyer, I try to get them in, and then I go through the process with them based on the packet. So the packet has like an outline version of everything that happens in the buying process and kind of like a map version. So I'm like, you know, we're gonna go through everything that could possibly happen, and then I can give them lender referrals if they need that. I have it right here. So it has things like, you know, the numbers for the utility companies, and then I have a consultation questionnaire, and this is where I just ask them a bunch of questions so I can find out from them what they're looking for in the home that they're buying. And I also will I bring my laptop and I'll pull up the MLS for them, and I'll show them how it looks on my end when I'm searching for a home for them. I also go over the fact that I can sell them a for sale by owner. So I try to just tell them, you know, if you find a house, make sure I'm your first contact, because I can get you in that for sale by owner, but it's important that, you know, if you want to work with me, that you contact me first versus, I mean, how many times have we lost a buyer to for sale by owner and you're like,
Or a celebrity.
yeah. So I go over that too, you know, just, hey, we want to make sure we get you with the best agent possible when working with a new builder. So make sure you let me know if you're interested in that, because there's some agents that just turn over in that company, and then there's agents that have been there forever. We want to make sure you get with an agent that's been there for a long time, knows what they're doing. So I try to kind of make sure that they won't go elsewhere by just addressing it at the initial appointment.
Okay, so I know Vince is pretty high on doing client appreciation parties here at Berkshire Hathaway. Do you and Cindy do the client appreciation parties?
So this is a place where we probably need improvement. I've done client appreciation parties with my mastermind group. Like this past summer, we did a tailgate at the College World Series. But we need to get better about doing parties. We've done them in the past. But yeah, that's something that's on our goal list for next year.
So that's something that not everyone does, is we do a lot of client appreciation parties here at Berkshire Hathaway. And it's funny because like our top agent is what it's called, Top Agent Mastermind Group. We all have different names for our mastermind group. Some of them are not so politically correct, but anyways, so we had a group of 14 agents that all put together $800, and then we had a title company go in on it, and I think Berkshire Hathaway pitched in on it as well. They rented out the top to the Rosenblatt Stadium.
Oh, the Blatt.
Yeah, the Blatt
the
bar
rooftop
downtown.
area.
And they all invited all their clients to the same place. You don't really see that ever happening anywhere else, where you have a joint venture where everyone invites all their past clients to another agent's client appreciation party. So those are some of the ideas that we're going to share here with you, that maybe it's intimidating doing your own client appreciation party, but if we can get you with a group of agents that might want to do it at like a movie theater, at Vala's, at the bowling alley, or at something like Blatt, let us know and we can help find other agents that might want to do another party with you as well, because that's the best way to stay in touch with your past clients. I know that one of our agents here just did one for Vala's Pumpkin Patch, and I think he had 170 clients that came to it, and before it was even over, he had 3 deals out of the thing that he had solidified. So it cost him a couple grand, but he'd already made, 3 times the amount in commissions that he'll be getting from that. So those are something that I would probably highly recommend if you're not doing the client appreciation parties, to start looking into those as well.
Well, and the other good thing about it is even if they don't come to your party, you've talked to them, because you've reached out to them, you sent an invitation, you've probably followed up with a phone call or a text message, and so it's that goodwill of, hey, I'm wanting to do something nice for you. Even if they can't come, they appreciate it, and you still get referrals because you tried.
Yeah, I think Vince says about 30% of the people that you invite will show up.
Yeah.
So, but it's the good faith of you inviting them and reaching out and staying in contact with your past clients. You can do a slide dial everybody on, at one time with like a generic voicemail, followed up with a text, a voicemail, an email, or a handwritten note. But always try and call them as well. I think the ones that actually call get the best results out of the whole process. So,
So too.
what's been your biggest turning point in your career while you're growing your business?
This was the hardest question. So Heather sent me some questions that she's like, I might be asking you these. And that was the hardest one for me.
Was it?
Because I feel like I'm constantly evolving. In this business, it goes up and it goes down. And, so that's really hard. I think this year, and hopefully every year I'll say this, but this year has been a really good year for me.
Good.
In terms of, as a turning point. So.
Have you added anything new this year that you hadn't added before that might be attributing to your success this year?
Rethink Council has helped me, but I don't know what it is. Probably being here as well, because we switched over about 2 years ago. But yeah, I think you're constantly evolving in this business. So there's no one turning point that stands out to me.
So what are some of the systems that you've added to maintain your organization? Do you guys use a CRM?
Yeah, so I'm not super organized, but my assistant is, and we use Wise Agent. And I don't know a lot about it. We were using Top Producer, and then we switched over to Wise Agent because Top Producer was just getting so complicated. Basically, what we use Wise Agent for is calling our past clients, keeping track of people that were trying to get their business, so we call it the stalkers list, and then doing mail outs. Yeah, I know, it's kind of creepy, but it's a good way to keep your leads in order and you remember them. So we do a weekly meeting and we have a spreadsheet that's a hot sheet, has all of our listings, all of our pending listings, and all of our pending buyers. So we go through them every week, Cindy, myself, and our assistant, and basically talk about what needs to happen, what has happened in the last week. And then at the end of the meeting, we go through the stalkers list and we just basically look at it. Okay, when was the last time I contacted that person? Where are they at? And it's constantly changing. We're adding people, taking people off, but it's a good way to keep those people top of mind and I haven't talked to that person in 2 weeks. I should probably call them. So that's one of our things that we do every week that really helps. And then Cindy and I take that sheet and we call all of our clients. She calls them on Monday. I call them on Tuesday because Mondays are just crazy days for me. But even if we don't have an update for them, we just call them because we found that if you keep in touch with your buyers and sellers, even if you don't have an update, they appreciate that. And then if 4 calls have gone by and at 30 days and we need to do a price reduction, it's much easier to ask for that price reduction because I've called you 3 other times and not asked you for a price reduction. So we really believe that that's important to call every single week. And we give them showing feedback immediately. So, it's not like we haven't talked to them in a week. We'll give them feedback. We'll let them know if a new listing comes on the market. But basically, the weekly call is just a recap. You had 2 showings this week. Here was the feedback that they said. We had a new listing enter the market in your neighborhood. And there was one that went from pending to sold, and here's the price that it sold for. Do you have any questions for me at this time? So it's just basically touching base with them.
Perfect.
Yep.
Perfect. So since this is our subject this week, goals. Do you set goals every year, and what do you do to attain them?
Yeah, so I have a real estate coach, and she's really on top of me for goals. So I brought also this business plan, and you probably can't see it because I didn't expect there to be this many people in here, but you can get this on Mike Ferry's website under resources. It's called the 2019 Business Plan, and basically this is what I use. I have to do this in November for my coach, and the first part of it is a recap. So for 2018, it says total income paid, total business expenses. So you basically fill that out. And then you go to the next page and it's what you want to achieve for the next year. And so they even break it down to how many contacts you need to talk to. And so they'll look at, okay, how many people did you talk to get a listing? So let's say I have to talk to 150 people to get a listing. So they'll break it down for you so that it's a daily goal. Daily, you need to talk to 20 people to hit this goal.
Okay.
And my goals, I would say, increase by about 20% every year. I try to, because Mike Ferry says that an average agent can increase by 20% every year. Some people can increase by 50%. If you're a new agent, you may be able to go from 15 to 30, and then 30 to 60 would be a bigger jump. But if you're just getting started, you can probably do more than just 20%. But that's kind of the standard that I set for myself, is I try to go 20% over what I did the year before.
So your goals are always transaction-based, not volume-based?
Yes, so that's something that's kind of up to you, what you want to do. Mike Ferry's system believes that you can control the number of transactions that you can do, but you can't control the price ranges of the things that are going to come into you. Of course, you can try to target larger listings, but he believes that it's much easier to just set a transaction goal, and you can look at what's my average commission check. So out of all the sales I did last year, what's the average? Okay, now I have a goal to make $250,000 or whatever. So now you take your average check by that number of transactions that equals 250. So it makes it very easy to set that goal.
To break it down for you?
Yep.
Okay. And then one last question for you. How do you maintain a work-life balance?
That's a really hard one too. And I'm not married, and I have a dog, but I think it's easy for me to just make my whole life real estate, because I don't have little kids at home, or, I have a family. But so for me, this was really hard, especially when I was new in the business, because I just wanted to do everything all the time. What I learned is that people that will expect you to drop what you're doing right now and want you to meet them at a house usually are not very serious buyers. So I just had to change my mindset on that, because I kept doing it and expecting, I'm going to get a sale, and then I wouldn't. So I think you just tell them when you're available, and if they're really serious about getting in the house and wanting to see it, they will conform to that. Now, that just depends. If it's a hot market and the house is going to sell, then you have to, maybe ask another agent or pay another agent to go show it for you. So it's not always the way it goes, but for me, I got to the point where I was never exercising. I was always pushing my personal things off to work. And so now I schedule everything. So if I have a Pure Barre workout class, that goes in the schedule. And if someone calls me and wants to see something or meet during that time, I'm sorry, I already have another appointment at that time. Could you do this time or this time? So for me, it was just changing the mindset, because my coach kept telling me, Rachel, they will conform to your schedule. Just tell them what you want and they'll do it. And once I started doing it, she was right. They started conforming. So there's always exceptions to that, but that's how I try to make it a little bit more balanced.
Perfect. Do you guys have any questions for Rachel?
Yep.
Rachel, what's your biggest challenge with the Mike Ferry system?
My biggest challenge is consistency. So, and you probably, because I know you prospect daily, it's really hard, because once you start prospecting, then you get really busy. Then you stop prospecting because you need to handle all your business that you have. And then you get really slow, and then you panic, and then you start prospecting. It's like this vicious cycle. So for me, it's morning schedule and just making sure that I do that no matter what. This morning I had a contract that expired at 10, and I just called them right after my role play before I got on the phone and said, what do you want to do? Because I have an appointment, and so we need to, make a decision. And they did, and that's fine. And I told them last night, hey, I'll be available to talk to you at 8 o'clock, and then I'm going to be tied up, after that. So for me, it's the consistency of prospecting and the schedule. But I've found that you don't have to go through the ups and downs if you keep just if you keep really consistent with that. And my coach always says, nothing's gonna burn down, nothing's gonna happen if you don't call them until 10 o'clock in the morning. So I have to not look at my email, not look at my text messages, and just do the calls, and then after that, you know, follow up with anyone who needs my help at that time.
Perfect.
Hi, Rachel.
Hi.
Do you ask a buyer if they're already pre-approved before you show them houses?
Yes. Yep.
And how do you handle that situation if they say, no, they're not, but, you know, they're gonna do it?
So that's a hard one also, because obviously people want to see the house and they're not always pre-approved. I kind of take it by my discretion. So, you know, if it's a cheaper house and it's going to sell immediately, I say to them, you know, you really need a pre-approval if you're even going to have a shot at this house. So I have some really great lenders. They will get you pre-approved today. Why don't we call them, and then we can still set up the showing, but I think you really need to do that before, you know, we go out, just to make sure that you know, are competitive in this market. If it's someone that I know that has the financial means to, you know, if they're looking at a $400,000 house and I know they can buy it, then I'm probably still gonna show it to them, even if they're not pre-approved. But if it's a cold call, I want them to be pre-approved before I do anything, because it's my time and my money too, to go out and show them. So, and a lot of times the sellers want that anyway. You know, they don't want unapproved buyers looking at their house, so. Hi,
I've
Scott.
heard the name Rethink Council a number of times, and I guess I don't exactly understand what it is. Can you
Okay.
explain that and what their goals and objectives might be?
Sure. So the Rethink Council is a council of people under 40 that are from across the United States.
I'm not interested anymore.
I didn't mean it like that. But it's basically like a millennial think tank. And so luckily,
That's an oxymoron, isn't it?
kinda, yeah. No, I'm just kidding, but
Me too.
it's, you know, it's actually awesome that our company wants to do that, because I think Berkshire Hathaway understands that this is an aging industry and they want to attract the millennial crowd. So basically they're trying to figure out, how do millennials buy and sell, and what do we need to do as an organization to make sure we're getting those buyers and sellers and attracting those
So
agents?
this is a national.
National,
You're going
yep.
to. That's cool.
So
Yeah.
the last time Rachel was there, she brought back all of her ideas and shared it in one of our sales meetings. So it's not something that she gets to keep to herself. Vince put her on this team that when she comes back from these meetings, that she comes back with these ideas and shares them with everyone within the company. So
Yeah, and there's some awesome ideas that, I mean, these people are doing, and it's helped me. And if you guys have questions, please feel free to come find me. I'm always happy to share. And it's a good way for me to find out about tools that our organization offers that I didn't even know were out there that other agents are using. And so I try to let everyone else know about that too.
Can we get a waiver if we look you up?
What? Yeah.
I think you fit
I could
in.
write a really compelling letter for you.
awesome. Anything else? We've got Julie still. Oh, one more. Yes, Miss Brenda.
Are you willing to share some of those items that you put in your buyer and seller package?
Yeah. Yep. Come find me and you can look at them and yeah. Yep.
Oops. All right. Thank you. Thank you. I know, but I love you. I love you. So everybody, this is Julie. She is another lady in the office that just I love, and she inspires me. And I know that she's like, why are you having me speak? Because she's amazing. And she was our top, she got the award 2 years ago for, what was it? I'm trying to think
2 years in a row, top individual producer.
Top individual producer.
Yeah.
So she kicks butt, but she doesn't like to take credit for that. So today I wanted Julie to come in and kind of share some of the things that she does to continue her success and the things that she does to maintain her business. And I may ask you some questions, but if you want to go and start with kind of what you do to do what you do, that would be great.
Well, I'm a great example of how any agent can make a living doing this. I'm absolutely, I respect you, you're the reason that I'm here, but the fact that you paired me with Rachel today just really is unfair, because she's awesome. But I have been with the company since 2011. Prior to that, I was in mortgage financing. I worked with at that time, the preferred lender here at what was then Prudential. And I worked with a great referral partner who needed some help. She started to work with a builder, and she was overwhelmed. And at that point in time, I had a daughter. My youngest child went to college, took our family pet with her, and I was having a little bit of a crisis, and so I decided to make that transition, and it was a really good thing. I've been here selling real estate since 2011. I worked with that agent under that agent basically for about a year, and then I went on my own, and I have been working just myself since then. I work with a couple of new agents, mentoring them. I have kind of a circle of people that I network with in regard to, just that's the way I make it work, being an individual agent.
So your business comes from a few different aspects. I mean, like you don't just tap into one, you tap into a few. Do you want to share what you do?
So my business has always been basically referral based. I use the database that I established working in mortgage financing to jumpstart my real estate business, and that worked very well. I had a very loyal group of people that followed me into real estate. And about 3 years ago, I diversified my business a little bit and added a builder, and which has been a really good thing. He's a small builder, but he's very, very good, and we have a great relationship. His business has grown, and so has mine. He builds mostly on the western tier of our MLS, but he's all over the area. We have lots in Springfield and Springfield Pines and Bridgeport in Gretna. And so that's been a really good thing. And about that same time, I started to focus more on working with investors as well. And that has been a great experience also, because those are usually very experienced buyers, or if they aren't, you grow with them, and you help them grow their business. The investors that I work with are repeat business. That's a great way to establish a relationship and continue to buy and sell. Those, I have probably 5 or 6 really active investors that are either buying and flipping, or buying and renting, or buying and selling.
And they have no problems paying you a commission both times? They're pretty okay with that?
Yeah,
good with that?
that's the nice thing about what I do is really I build relationships. That's what I focus on. There are all kinds of lead generation things that you can do, and all kinds of technology and opportunities to, get new leads. I really just focus on, building the relationships that I have with my clients, and I continue to cultivate those. And with investors, they appreciate what I do, as do the rest of my clientele. But I'm so nervous.
I'm trying to make it.
I know you are. You're being so.
So, Julie, I know that you don't really have to prospect, or you don't prospect a lot. What are some of the things that you do that does get new business for you, though? I mean, do you do open houses? Do you make phone calls?
And again, what I'm trying to get across to you is that you don't have to. I really try to do the cold calling, and I haven't actually done the Mike Ferry program, but I'm very familiar with it, and I've utilized some of those processes and tools. But I wasn't comfortable with that, and I just didn't find that it was working well for me. So I decided to focus on what I do well and what was working for me, and what was working for me is one-on-one connection, face-to-face, or just personal information and or communication. And so open houses are very, very, they work very well for me. And I also go, I do neighborhood canvassing and meet people face-to-face. Open houses are fabulous because, I have kind of a plan of attack when I do those. When people come in, I try not to hover. I always introduce myself, and I make a concerted effort to, at the time I ask them their name, remember their name. When you ask somebody your name, a lot of times you're thinking about the next thing you're going to say. And I'm very good at remembering people's names, which I think really helps. But again, I don't hover. I don't sit on my cell phone. I try to engage them if I have the opportunity to. But again, I kind of let them lead that, and you can definitely get a feeling from people whether they are open to you or not. And if they're open to you, what I do is I let them do the talking. I try to get them to open up, and if they're slow to do that, I ask them for feedback, just trying to get a little bit more information, an opportunity to talk, and it just works really well for me. I try to, like I said, I don't sell myself. I'm not telling them all about me. I really try to allow them to tell me about them and what they're looking for, who they are, and then I use that information to establish a relationship, a connection, and I know I don't ask them for their personal information, their name, phone number, email, all that, until I have gotten to that point. And if I don't get to that point with them, I don't ask them for that information because I know they don't want to give it to me, so I don't ask for it. But I do, if I can get that from them, then I do. And then it's at that point that I'll ask them if they have an agent, and if they have an agent, I'm respectful of that. But if I have talked to them about providing any kind of information, like I try every opportunity to find a way or a reason to reconnect with them on the phone or by email or whatever after the open house, and whether it be talking to them about a service provider that they might be looking for, or information about the home, or the neighborhood that I don't have that information at that time for. But whatever, just a reason that I can go back and try to connect with them. And again, if they have an agent, then the ball is in their court. I don't pursue clients that or buyers that are already established with an agent, unless they choose to pursue me at that point. Let's see. The other lead generation that I do is, like I said, neighborhood canvassing, going door to door. I've found that to be a very good way to to build new people in my database. I always provide like right now I'm using a fall maintenance checklist to go door to door in Sunny Slope.
That was going to be my question. What do you do when you go door to door? Are you saying that you have a buyer in the neighborhood, but this one you're just giving out pointers?
Well, actually, this summer I had several buyers. I do, and I try to pick neighborhoods that I do a lot of business in. I was doing a lot of business in Minnelusa, and so I was canvassing that area, and the information that I was using at that at that time was sale information, information, because I did have buyers, and, information about what those, homes are worth, and what a great opportunity to be a seller, in our market and that kind of thing. And that worked very well. Like I said, right now I'm using a fall maintenance checklist, something to provide, something to provide value.
So when you go and knock on a door, can you give me an idea of what you say to them if somebody does answer the door? Like if you come knocking at my door and you're handing me this checklist, what do you say to the people that are in that house?
Well, I just say, well, I am going door to door. I live in your neighborhood, or I have buyers in your neighborhood, and it's such a great time to be a seller. I've got some information for you here. Well, if it, like this summer when I was doing the Minnelusa, and I had 3 or 4 buyers that were actively looking, and it was so hard to find homes that were on the market long enough to work with. People were very, very interested in talking to you about that, about what their home was worth. Do you really have a buyer? And I really did, and so it made it very easy. But
so can I ask you a question? Going knocking on doors, is that scary for you?
Not at all.
Not at all, but
not at all. I mean, I don't think that that's invasive. And again, it's not scary for me. Okay. Calling somebody on the phone and having that's scary to me. Yeah, okay. I don't like rejection. Yeah. I'm afraid of that. But and the fall checklist is, it's just something that, a service that I'm providing. You've got a beautiful home, you live in a beautiful neighborhood. This is, information that I think that you might be helpful. If you are interested in learning more about your home, your home's value in our market today, I'm available. I always, obviously have my contact information. I always attach, if they don't answer the door, I have something, a packet of something that
of value that you can leave with your name.
Yeah.
So people actually answer the door though, because we're in this time where we have the Ring doorbell, we can see who's there. We know if they're trying to sell us something, and that they just simply won't answer the door because either I know you're coming if you're coming to me.
Yeah, right. Well, timing is really important. I was doing that during the middle of the day and it wasn't working well. And I found that if you go 4 to 6 in the afternoon when people are coming home from work, a lot of times you're catching them as they're coming home, or they're in their yard, or they're getting their mail or whatever. And again, you can always tell when people are interested in talking to you and when they're not. And if they're not, I'm not pushy about it, but I'm just friendly, and that works for me.
Good. So our last 2 sessions, this one and the one before, we talked about database. Do you have a database or a CRM that you use?
Yes, actually, when I probably in about it would have been 2014, I started using Top Producer, and I heard Rachel say, her experience with Top Producer is that it's complicated, and it is complicated. The data entry is the most difficult part of that, and if you don't, enter the data, it's not helpful. Right. I also use our resource center. And that is the way I have chosen to reach out to clients. I send a seasonal newsletter. I send out e-cards for holidays, that sort of thing, because that's very easy. Right. I have an administrative assistant who is part-time. She works from home and I've had her since about 2014, 2015 also, I believe. She had a baby and left and went and quit, and then she came back to me and works from home. So she's limited on what she does for me, but what she does is she puts the information on new contacts into the system, and then I follow up and set up a plan of action, an action plan for follow-up. And what I found was if I had her do that, my follow-through wasn't as good as when I do it myself. Right. So you do use a CRM? Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Goals. How about goals? Do you set goals for yourself every year?
Yes, I do. And again, I use the same Mike Ferry program that, or
The business plan?
yeah, that Rachel does. And it's really good for me because it's a great way of tracking where your business really is. And I find that setting realistic goals is very important. I think unrealistic goals for me is just discouraging and counterproductive. So I set a baseline of 10% and annually, and then what I do is I go in and I take a look at my average, sale price, and then I increase that because my goal is to sell those people their next home.
Right.
So I'm always trying to increase my average sale price on properties.
So for your goals every year, your increase is about 10% more every year.
Actually, what it amounts to is about 15%. When not quite 20, I meant to look to see where I was at this year, because I do check it. I keep track of it quarterly.
Right.
But again, it's really based on those numbers. But the baseline is 10. But the reality is it's usually a little bit more than that.
Perfect. So is there anything that you do once a year, a couple times a year, to keep in touch with your clients that you might offer some tidbits?
That's what I do. Because my business is referral based, and my clients are very important to me. My database is very important to me, and so I make sure that I reach out to everyone at least every 6 months.
Okay.
I meet face-to-face, either for coffee or drinks or some sort of a face-to-face connection. And then again, I also send handwritten cards. I spend time at my open houses doing that if I don't have people there. And just either face-to-face or, like I said, a handwritten card. And then also, again, through my CRM and my system through the Resource Center, I send out at least quarterly, and then also, like I said, holidays, and then birthdays and anniversaries, sales anniversaries.
Okay.
So, yeah. But the face-to-face is what's really important, the phone call, the personal contact that way. And I really strive to, to stay on top of that. And that's Top Producer helps me organize
Maintain
that. Right.
Do you do a client appreciation party at all?
Yeah, I do, actually. My builder and I have gone together and had client appreciation parties at Pitch, which always are very nice. I mean, I was kind of questioning whether that was, a good investment, but it is. It's a very good, they appreciate it, and it's just one more opportunity to stay in contact with people and let them know that you're important to them, and that you're not necessarily wanting something from them. They're important to you.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, this year I'm doing something a little different. Actually, we are going to have another appreciation party at Pitch between now and Christmas. We haven't set a date. I hope we can get it in yet, but that's the plan. But also, the agent that I'm mentoring and working with, and I are going to provide a personal safety class. We're offering that to all of our clients.
Nice.
Through Tactical 88, and personal safety class this fall.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. Anyone have any questions for Julie? Yes, Sandy.
Yeah.
You mentioned referral partner. Do you use that a lot? And if you're going to offer a referral, can you give me an idea of what you might pay?
When I say referral partner, what I mean is when I have clients, I have that need anything, I provide, I have a whole list of service providers that I work with, people that I trust and I know are going to take care of my clients, and I refer to them and I tell them, you're helping my clients and I'm working to help you with your business as well. And I hold them accountable. And what I'm trying to do with that is I am trying to establish a value with my clients. I want to be their go-to person when it comes to anything that they need. I have clients that call me every day about, I'm looking for a pool guy. Do you have a pool guy? Do you know who I contact about, or do you have somebody that I could call about removing a stump or whatever? I mean,
plumber, electrician, you've got a book of business.
Oh, all
that you
those
refer-
things,
yes.
all those things, and those are people also. Those same referral partners are people that I pursue for business. So it's just a larger circle of my sphere that I use. So instead of calling, cold calls, I'm contacting those providers.
You're calling an electrician asking if they know of anyone moving
or if he's interested in investing in real estate, so.
Perfect, yeah. Yes, sir.
Do you focus on any price range, or I know you mentioned Minnelusa, you went there because you had some listings there or something?
I went there because I had three buyers that wanted that area specifically. I do not focus on any price range. Every, $35,000 house is just as important to me as a $400,000 or $500,000 house, and I mean that. Those buyers are treated and given the same consideration as they would be.
How do you justify that? Because you can't make any money on a $35,000 house.
Well,
you would think it'll lead to more.
If they flip it and sell it again.
Absolutely, absolutely. And that's the problem. There are agents that aren't willing to work with clients at that price point, but you find that if you treat those people the way you would treat any other buyer, they are going to really appreciate you, and they are going to call you back when they're ready to upgrade, or
and
if they want refer me. Exactly. That's very important to to let people know that it doesn't matter. They're as important to you as anyone else. And I have seen that. I have clients that have come back to me, and that's what I mean about increasing my purchase
price
average. Those people that are buying $60,000 homes are maybe going to be looking for $150,000 the next time, and they come back to me for that. So.
Awesome.
Question.
Yeah.
Julie, how do you balance new construction with your existing business? Because for open houses and just for time commitment.
It's that really is the difficult part. I don't have a model. So that's also the hard part about selling the new construction. Dave Boltinghouse is my builder, and he's a small builder, and we have a spec home that we just are getting close to completing down in Springfield Pines, and I've been looking forward to having that as a place to showcase what we do. We've sold it. And so here we are. I'm back to square one with because when I have people interested, I have to take them to Fremont or Blue Water or someplace, like I said, over on the western tier. We have construction right now in Bennington, so that's a little closer. But that is the issue. But I do struggle with because of the market and the competitive nature of sales right now because of inventory, especially with my investment clients. If you're not on it immediately, you've lost out. Mm-hmm. And so staying on top of that market, getting my buyers in there in time to, come to the table, that's the tough part. Because my business is threefold, and it's hard. I can't, concentrate on that.
Yeah.
One aspect of it.
Perfect.
All the time. Yeah.
All right. Anything else for Julie? Julie. I appreciate
You guys.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Thank you, Julie. I love Julie, so I'm so glad and so thankful that you came here today
You're
for
welcome.
me. So thank you. I think Dana's going to take your mic from you too, if you don't mind, Julie. And I know we're running a little bit late today, so I apologize. My technology did not help. So for the homework, what I have here for
That would
you,
be bad.
and I think there's a sheet in there that tells you what your homework is too. Set your goals for 2019, business and personal. Be specific with what you want to achieve. Fill out your 136 process. Fill out your 90-day calendar tracker, letting you know which days you're going to take vacation so you know which days you have to work. Start doing the success experiment for the week. Time to prospect, and then check in with your accountability partner. So if you didn't get an accountability partner before break, find somebody and hand them your sheet before you leave. And then admin tip of the week. So a lot of you that aren't familiar with Dotloop, here's our admin tip of the week. Once all your documents are fully executed, don't forget to click Submit Review in Dotloop. So we do not turn in paperwork here. You can, but most of our stuff is technology, so you need to actually submit it on Dotloop for review. Yes, Kit?
The 5553 was 5 calls, 5 texts, 5 notes.
And 3 coffees. 3 coffees or lunches. So if you guys aren't familiar with Dotloop and need help with this, if you have a listing or a pending, you click the folder, hit submit for review, check if it's a listing or a sale, and then that's how it gets through to the girls downstairs. So you don't actually have to hand deliver your contracts or listings. This will take care of it for you. And then food for thought, the world's most successful people agree that what you get by achieving your goals is not as important as what you become in the process. So, you know, even if sometimes we don't hit our goals, making yourself accountable and trying to achieve them is going to help grow you as a person. So continue to move forward and be that person, and don't give up. Because I know some days we have craptastic days like today with my technology, but it's not going to kill me for next time. So keep moving forward, keep planning for your success. And then dreams don't work unless you do. So all this isn't going to happen unless you pick up the phone, that you make those calls, that you write your notes, go to your open houses. We are going to integrate some tools I think that might be helpful for open houses. I've got some of my new agents using. So we'll do like an app tech week that will show you the best apps that you can use for technology. So we'll integrate those one of these weeks with Tabitha. But I appreciate your guys' patience today. I am sorry for my technology issues. I hope that next time it's not so bad. And I appreciate all your time that you had taken and came to week 2 today. So thank you. Thank you, guys.